So happy to be with you here as we go through the middle of the week and the end of February pretty soon. It's going to get pretty active as we close out the month and go into March as we have multiple low pressure systems from Texas into New England that we are going to be seeing. And with that is the battle zone between colder and warmer air. We're going to start to see more bigger warm-ups. The extreme cold mainly bottled up north, but there's going to be plenty of cold shots that come down into the northeast, especially over the course of the next week to 10 days. There will be also some cold shots briefly into the west, but overall, it will be warmer. As we go into your Thursday morning, high pressure is going to help kind of disrupt this. We're not going to get the phasing between these two systems enough to have probably a swath of moderate to heavy snow that's going to be much of anything. That rain quickly pulls out. Little clipper across portions of the northeastern Great Lakes into Montreal and maybe into Maine. That would be about it. Little clipper. High pressure across the middle portion of the country. Fairly quiet. Another system is going to dive on in from the west. This is going to be into Saturday. This will be the next system to kind of watch as it goes across the northern plains, upper Midwest, and eventually into portions of the Great Lakes. We'll have to see how this comes together. This could be pretty minor for the most part. I don't expect to see a major accumulation, but if things come together, it could be a few inch swath. We'll just have to see how everything really gets its act together over the course of the next few days. This likely heads on up into the northeast, tiny bit of lake effect back behind it, next system potentially forming because again, we're going to get into a pretty active pattern that would be across the middle portion of the country. These systems have potential to be decent. They could be pretty minor, but there's certainly going to be some potential. Lots of snow up into portions of the Canadian Rockies, and we could see again a couple swaths with multiple different lows that do drop on down. This is the Saturday system, and yes, if this plays out like this would be a swath of probably a very common 1 to 3 inches with a few areas maybe 3 or 4 or 5 at the absolute most, but you could see not really a big deal as we're out looking right now. That second clipper that comes in, that drops a little bit more into Quebec. Not a big deal. High pressure, not anywhere near the low here, so that's going to allow for this to kind of string itself out and get organized. We could see a swath of snow with that. We'll have to watch for maybe a little short wave up across portions of the Great Lakes, early portions of next week. This system heads off towards the east. Watch for maybe a mix into the high terrain of the Carolinas. We'll see potential for maybe another system getting its act together by the time we get into Tuesday. Lots of uncertainty here as well. This could be a more organized, larger winter storm. This could be another system that just doesn't allow to really form much in the way of that boundary between the cold air, the warm air, the snow upper level low, the more moist low pressure coming across portions of the Ohio Valley into the Appalachians and the Northeast. Again, something to keep an eye on. And then another system back behind it. So we're not lying. It's kind of a parade of storm potential. So if this comes alive and actually happens, this could be where we're looking at some of the heavier snowfall accumulation as we go through portions of next Wednesday when you total it all up. But there's low confidence on this. Best impactful snowfall risk generally from Iowa to Illinois to Ohio to, again, portions of Jersey, New York into New England. Whew, it's active, man. So winter not done. It's the battle zone between these couple of areas for sure. And that's going to keep precipitation chances over the next week and a half or so above average for a pretty good swath of the country. Into California, it will be drier. Temperatures are going to be cool at times. I mean, we're going to see close to the Arctic air, but it stays generally a little bit locked up, and we'll see surges of some mild air here. This is very typical for this time of year. Nothing really crazy at all. And then probably once we get past early March, closer to the middle of March, we're probably going to have a surge or two of very warm air, but it stays mild across the western portion of the country, across the middle portion of the country. But notice we just can't keep sustained warm air into the northeast. It's likely going to be, especially with that big snowpack, still on the chilly side.